Consider that life is an expansive and shadowed chasm with few and distant lights of hope to be found, and that all of them are sputtering, and that the most immaterial mirages, which melt into nothing but somnolence and despair in the palm of the hand. Consider that, as a transgender person, and as one who can respond to the idea of being seen as male or female only with paralyzing fear and sadness, being neither and knowing that I am neither, I have grown up being told that my life expectancy is somewhere between 30 and 32 years. Consider that I fear death more than anyone else I've ever met, because I feel as though my body has been taken from me twice already. Once when I was born, and once slightly over a year ago, when I was sexually assaulted by a girl who had convinced me that she was one of my only friends in the world. I am not ready for a third and final time, and I doubt that I ever will be. I've grown to believe sincerely and deeply that it is never right to cause any person harm, under any circumstance. Punishment, justice, self-defense, and impartiality are all elaborate myths which we employ towards the absolution of our deep and material sins. I'm sorry to say that I'm not ready to detail my two victimizations, one by society and one by a very specific person. I found my resolution in neither, and I doubt that I will in any short amount of time, if ever. To be brief, but as complete as possible, I can say this. Statehood and mastery have been exerted over my very being, and I know that there is nothing more evil. A man can kill or die out of foolishness, but these crimes do not happen by accident. A great portion of myself has been defined by the impositions of others. In both situations, these things were carried out with full and sincere understanding of their implications, and with the notion that they were rightful and just. Who can make such judgments? Who can dole out pain and violence and death and devalidation and fear? These things are not meant to be taken into our hands. This is why I reject on a deep and personal level the institution of the gun, of the bomb. Every atrocity ever committed was done with absolute certainty that it was a fair and noble arrangement, and by people who were no less human and no less real than our contemporary countrymen. As long as we live in a society that believes in the use of punishment and enforce, as long as any single person exists who believes in the subjection of others to harm, none of us are safe. And what good is there in hurting a criminal, of tarnishing their dignity? If prevention is the sole goal of the process, then there are more elegant and generous ways of it. If somebody proves themselves unwilling to forgo violence, how is imprisonment safer or more humane than banishment? Should the accused not at least be given the choice of their fate, to choose freely on their own terms, expatriation, imprisonment, death, or any other preferable arrangement? And if punishment is the goal of these things, then what good does that do any of us? I would argue that a sadist is not defined by cause, but by actions, and that nothing can be done to a criminal that will cure their victim of the malignation to which they were subjected. To execute a murderer in any way will not bring their victim one step closer to living, but simply make murderers of us all. To imprison renders us all prisoners to empty justification and cold-heartedness. What more can I say about the absolute firmity of these truths?
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Here we go. Ready?